I never thought a simple babysitting job would turn into a nightmare, but it did. I was just trying to earn some extra money while in college. What could go wrong, right? Turns out, a lot. It was a Friday evening when I showed up at the house. It was a massive, creepy mansion on the edge of town, hidden behind trees. The parents met me at the door. The dad barely spoke and looked super serious. The mom seemed jumpy, always checking behind her. They told me the baby was already asleep and gave me strict rules. Stay in the living room or kitchen and don't go into any other rooms. Weird, but I didn't ask questions. I just wanted to make some cash. They left, and I was alone. The first couple of hours were boring. I scrolled through my phone and half-watched some TV. While adjusting the couch cushions, I felt something hard. I pulled it out. A hidden camera. At first, I thought, okay, maybe they're just protective parents. But as I looked around, I saw more cameras. One behind a bookshelf, another in the kitchen. Everywhere. My stomach started to twist. I tried to calm myself. People are paranoid, I thought. But this was too much. I sat back down, but every creak and hum in the house felt louder. I kept glancing at the cameras, feeling their invisible eyes watching me. Why so many cameras? Were they watching the baby? Or someone else? Around midnight, I decided to check on the baby. The hallway to the nursery was dark, and every step I took echoed. When I reached the door, I heard a faint noise, like breathing. I opened the door. The crib wasn't empty. It held a doll. Panic surged through me. I flipped the light on and stared at the unmoving figure in the crib. No baby. My heart raced as I whispered, "Hey, where are you?" Nothing. Then I spotted another camera pointed straight at the crib. I grabbed my phone to call the parents. No signal. Wi-Fi? Dead. That's when I noticed the open window. Cold air drifted in. Did someone take the baby? Or was someone already inside? My skin crawled. I ran to the front door. Locked. Every door and window was sealed. My heart pounded. The whole house was filled with cameras. I wasn't alone. Someone was watching me. Suddenly, the TV flickered on. Static crackle before showing a live video of me standing by the door, looking terrified. A message appeared on the screen. "Don't move." I froze. My breath caught. A shadow shifted behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Fear screamed at me to run. But where? A soft creak came from the stairs. I turned slowly. A figure stood at the top, a dark silhouette, still and silent. It didn't move, but I could feel its eyes on me. I backed into the kitchen, hands shaking. I grabbed a knife. The figure didn't move. Was it a person? A mannequin? I didn't know, and I wasn't waiting to find out. I remembered the basement door, one of the places they told me not to go. Desperation took over, and I opened it. I crept down the stairs. Each step creaked under my weight. At the bottom, I found a control room filled with screens. Every room in the house had a camera. Some feeds showed earlier footage. Others were live. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. One screen showed the parents. They were tied up, gagged, and terrified. A man in a mask stood over them, his head tilting as if he was watching me. It turned out that the real owners were prisoners, and the people who hired me weren't them. Another screen showed the nursery. The baby? It wasn't a baby. It was a doll, wired with sensors. A trap. I stared at the control room in horror as another realization hit me. On one of the screens, there was a live chat window with messages flooding in. "He's figured it out." Betting 500 he makes it to the door but doesn't escape. 1,000 he doesn't survive the crawl space. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just a setup. It was a show. A twisted live stream game for sick viewers on the dark web. And I was the star. The man in the mask. He wasn't just a criminal. He was the front man of this horror show targeting wealthy families. He would kidnap them, rig their homes with cameras, and bring in unsuspecting babysitters like me. But his twisted spectacle didn't end there. He would torture the real owners, inflicting unspeakable pain while his viewers on the dark web watched and paid for the thrill. Some even placed bets on how long the victims would last or how brutally the torment would unfold. Some bet on whether the sitter would discover the truth. Others bet on how long it would take before the sitter was caught. Suddenly, a new message flashed on the screen. Run. The masked man tilted his head toward the camera, as if acknowledging his audience. Then slowly, he turned and started walking toward the basement door. I backed away, my heart hammering. My eyes darted around, searching for anything. Any escape. I noticed a vent near the floor. It was small, but I could fit. I dropped to my knees and started unscrewing it. As I wriggled into the vent, I heard the basement door creak open. Heavy footsteps descended the stairs, slow and deliberate. The vent was tight, the metal edges scraping my arms, but I kept pushing forward. I see you, his voice whispered behind me. I didn't look back. My heart pounded as I crawled, every inch feeling like a mile. The air was stifling, and the darkness pressed in on me. The only sounds were my ragged breathing and the scrape of my shoes against the metal. I reached the end of the vent and pushed against a small hatch. It didn't budge. Panic surged. I kicked it hard. Once. Twice. Until it finally gave way, and I tumbled into the cold night air. I didn't know where I was going, just away from that house. My legs burned, but I kept going until I saw headlights. I stumbled into the street, waving my arms wildly. A car screeched to a halt. "Call the police!" I gasped. When the cops arrived, they stormed the house. They found the real owners bound and barely alive. The control room was empty. The masked man, gone without a trace. Later, I learned that this wasn't his first show. He had done it before, always targeting rich families, always using babysitters as pawns in his sick game. The dark web audience loved it. No one knows where he went. No one knows if he'll ever return. As for me, I never babysat again. And I never, ever trust a house with too many cameras.